Welcome back, lost travelers. It seems you found your way back to me once again. I am Dr. Whisper, and it looks like your next appointment has just begun. So, pour yourself something strong, grab a snack and settle down by the fire. You're going to need your strength where we're going. My name is Marcus Kane, and I kill monsters for a living. Not metaphorical monsters. Not bad people, real monsters, cryptids. The things that hide in the shadows, that snatch hikers from trails, that turn quiet mountain towns into ghost towns. The creatures your government pretends don't exist. I've been doing this for 11 years. I've tracked Dogman through Michigan forests, hunted skinwalkers in the Arizona desert, and put down things that don't even have names yet. But the Wendigo, that's different. That's the one contract that makes even experienced hunters like me pause. This is the story of my most dangerous hunt, the bounty that almost killed me, and why some contracts should never be accepted. This is the Wendigo bounty. The call came through my encrypted line at 3 a.m. That's how it always starts. Middle of the night. Desperate voice. Someone who's exhausted every rational option and finally accepted they need someone like me. Mr. Kane? My name is Sheriff Thomas Brennan. I'm calling from Ravens Creek, Minnesota. Population 847, or it was 847. I sat up in my motel room, already reaching for my notebook. Population changes mean deaths. Deaths mean active predators. How many? I asked. 6 missing in the last 3 weeks. We found 2 of them. What was left of them? His voice cracked. Mr. Kane, I've been sheriff here for 20 years. I know every animal in these woods. This isn't bears, this isn't wolves, this is something else. He described the remains, partially consumed, bones cracked open for marrow, bodies found miles apart, all near the Superior National Forest boundary. And the tracks, massive humanoid but wrong, elongated feet, claw marks, a stride length that suggested something over 7 feet tall, but it was the last detail that confirmed my suspicion. The survivors, the ones who got away, they all say the same thing. They heard their names, called out in the voices of their dead relatives, coming from the forest. I closed my eyes. I knew exactly what we were dealing with. Sheriff, I need you to listen very carefully. Do not, under any circumstances, send anyone else into those woods. Arm your deputies with rifles, not pistols. And whatever you do, don't go out there after dark. What is it? He asked, though I could hear in his voice he already feared the answer. It's a Wendigo. Silence on the line. Then, how much? 50,000. Half up front, half on confirmation of elimination. Done. How soon can you get here? I'm in Duluth. I'll be there by morning. I hung up and stared at my equipment cases. In 11 years, I'd only encountered a Wendigo once before. I still have the scars, and that was a juvenile. This one sounded fully grown. Ravens Creek was dying. I could see it the moment I drove into town. Businesses closed, houses with "for sale" signs, people walking with their heads down, jumping at shadows. Fear has a smell, and this town reeked of it. Sheriff Brennan met me at his office. He was in his 50s, gray-haired, with the haunted eyes of a man who'd seen something that shattered his worldview. "Thank God you're here," he said, shaking my hand. Another person went missing last night. Jenny Holbrook, 32 years old, school teacher, went out to her car around 8 p.m. and never came back. Show me where. We drove to her house on the edge of town. Her car was still in the driveway, driver's door open, keys on the ground. But what caught my attention were the tracks leading into the tree line. I knelt down, examining them with my flashlight, even though it was daylight. The prints were fresh, less than 12 hours old. Humanoid but elongated, approximately 18 inches long, with 4 toes ending in claw marks. The depth of the impression suggested something weighing at least 400 pounds, but it was the stride pattern that confirmed my worst fear. 7-foot intervals. Whatever made these tracks was running, fast. It took her while she was getting in her car, I said, standing up. Grabbed her and moved before she could even scream. Jesus Christ, Brennan whispered. What are we dealing with? I looked at the tree line, at the dark forest beyond. A Wendigo is what happens when a human commits cannibalism in conditions of extreme starvation. The act transforms them into something else, something that's always hungry, always hunting. They're incredibly strong, impossibly fast, and worst of all, intelligent. They hunt like humans because they used to be human. Used to be? There's nothing human left, Sheriff. The transformation is complete. Body elongates, grows, bones stretch, teeth sharpen. All that's left is hunger and the twisted remnants of memories. That's why it mimics voices, fragments of its former life. Brennan looked sick. Can it be killed? Yes, but it's not easy. I opened my truck and pulled out my gear. Custom rifle, silver-jacketed ammunition, flare gun, thermal scope, and my kukri blade. I'm going in tonight. Wendigos hunt after dark. I need to find its lair before it kills again. I'm coming with you. No, you're not trained for this. If something happens to me, this town needs someone who knows what's out there. He wanted to argue, but he knew I was right. At least take this. He handed me a radio. Channel 7. If you need backup. If I call for backup, Sheriff, don't come. It'll mean I've failed. And if I've failed, sending more people will just give it more victims. His face went pale, but he nodded. I loaded my gear and headed into the Superior National Forest. The last time I hunted a Wendigo, I had a team of 3. Only 2 of us walked out. This time I was alone. Superior National Forest, Night 1. The forest was silent. Not the peaceful silence of nature, but the oppressive silence of a place where prey animals have learned to hide. No birds, no rustling in the underbrush, nothing. I followed the tracks deeper into the woods, using my thermal scope to scan for heat signatures. The temperature had dropped to 15 degrees and my breath came out in clouds. Perfect hunting weather for a Wendigo. They thrive in cold. 2 miles in, I found the first marker. A tree, stripped of bark, with deep claw marks gouged into the wood, 8 feet high, territory marking. Then I smelled it, the stench of decay and old blood. I was getting close. I found the lair in a ravine, hidden beneath an overhang of rock. The entrance was narrow, but inside I could see scattered remains, bones, clothing, personal effects. This thing had been feeding for months, maybe years, but the bodies Sheriff Brennan mentioned were recent, which meant the Wendigo had changed its pattern, become more aggressive. That happens when they grow larger. The hunger intensifies. I set up a perimeter of motion sensors around the lair entrance and positioned myself on higher ground with a clear line of sight. Then I waited. Hunting cryptids is 90% patience, 10% violence. At 11:47 p.m., my sensors triggered. Something was coming. Through my thermal scope, I saw it emerge from the tree line. The heat signature was wrong. Too cold for a normal mammal, but warmer than ambient temperature. Wendigos run cold, their transformed metabolism operating at lower temperatures. Then it stepped into a patch of moonlight, and I saw it clearly for the first time. 9 feet tall, impossibly thin, with elongated limbs and protruding ribs. Skin stretched tight over the skeletal frame, grayish-white like a corpse. The head was skull-like with antlers, actual antlers growing from the cranium, a common feature in advanced Wendigos. The mouth was too large, filled with sharp yellow teeth, and the eyes, sunken but aware, hunting. It was dragging something. Jenny Holbrook, still alive, unconscious but breathing. The Wendigo was saving her. Fresh meat for later. I had to take the shot now. I steadied my breathing, centered the crosshairs on its chest, where the heart should be, and squeezed the trigger. The rifle kicked. The silver-jacketed round hit center mass. The Wendigo screamed. Not a human sound, not an animal sound, something in between. It dropped Jenny and spun toward my position, moving with impossible speed. I fired again, hit it in the shoulder. It didn't slow down. It was coming straight for me. I abandoned my sniper position and ran. In close quarters, rifles are useless. I needed space. The Wendigo crashed through the forest behind me, moving on all fours now, faster than any human could run. I could hear its breathing, ragged, hungry, furious. I reached a clearing and spun around, dropping the rifle and pulling my kukri blade. The curved blade was 18 inches of high-carbon steel, blessed by a Cree elder who specialized in Wendigo lore. If bullets wouldn't stop it, maybe this would. The creature burst into the clearing and rose to its full height. Up close, it was even more horrifying. The antlers were massive, spreading 6 feet wide. Its fingers ended in claws 4 inches long. And its face. God, its face still had traces of humanity. I could see what it used to be beneath the monster. "You were human once," I said, circling slowly. "I'm sorry for what happened to you, but this ends tonight." It tilted its head, and when it spoke, the voice was wrong. Multiple voices overlapping. Men, women, children, all its victims, hungry. Always hungry. Then it lunged. I dove aside, slashing with the kukri as I moved. The blade caught its ribs, cutting deep. Black blood sprayed, steaming in the cold air. The Wendigo spun faster than I expected, backhanding me across the clearing. I hit a tree hard, felt ribs crack. Pain exploded through my chest. It was on me in seconds, claws reaching for my throat. I jammed the kukri up into its abdomen, twisting. It shrieked and recoiled. I rolled away, gasping for breath, each inhalation agony. The creature was wounded but far from finished. Black blood poured from the wounds, but it wasn't slowing down. I needed to end this. I pulled the flare gun from my belt. My last resort. Wendigos are vulnerable to fire. Their transformed bodies burn easily, the cursed flesh igniting like tinder. "Come on!" I shouted, backing toward the lair entrance. "You want to eat? Come and get me." The Wendigo charged. I fired the flare directly into its chest. The magnesium round punched through skin and ignited inside the body cavity. The Wendigo's scream shook the trees as flames erupted from the wound, spreading across its torso. It thrashed, trying to extinguish the flames, but the fire spread faster. Within seconds, the creature was engulfed, its cursed flesh burning with supernatural intensity. I watched as it collapsed, still burning, its screams fading to silence. The smell was horrific, burning hair, corrupted meat, and something else. Something wrong. It took 3 minutes for the body to burn completely. When the flames finally died, nothing remained but ash and bones. The Wendigo was dead. I found Jenny Holbrook where the Wendigo had dropped her. She was hypothermic, but alive. I radioed Sheriff Brennan, gave him our coordinates, and waited. The paramedics arrived within 30 minutes. Jenny was rushed to the hospital. She'd survived with no memory of what took her. That was a mercy. Sheriff Brennan stood with me at the lair entrance while his deputies documented the scene. They'd found the remains of all 6 victims, plus 4 more the Wendigo had taken years ago. "Is it really over?" Brennan asked. "For this town?" "Yes, but there are others out there. There are always others." He handed me a check for the remaining $25,000. "Thank you, Mr. Kane. You saved lives tonight. I ended one," I corrected. "That thing used to be a person, maybe someone from this town, maybe someone who got lost in these woods decades ago and did what they had to do to survive. And it cost them everything." I drove out of Ravens Creek the next morning. In my rearview mirror, I could see people emerging from their homes, the fear finally lifting. They'd never know exactly what happened in those woods. The official story would be a bear attack or something equally mundane, but I know. And I carry that knowledge. I'm Marcus Kane. I kill cryptids for a living. Not because I want to. Not because I enjoy it. But because someone has to stand between the monsters and the people who don't even know monsters are real. The Wendigo bounty paid well. $50,000 for one night's work. But I earned every penny. I have 3 cracked ribs, 12 stitches and scars I'll carry for the rest of my life. And somewhere in my encrypted inbox, there are already 3 new contracts waiting. A Skinwalker in Arizona, a rake in Ohio, and something in Louisiana that doesn't even have a name yet. The hunt never ends, because the monsters never stop, and as long as they're out there, I'll be hunting them. This is what I do. This is who I am. I'm a contract cryptid killer, and business is always good.